Hello, my friends. Welcome back, my true crime junkies. Hope everyone is having a good weekend, and I hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving holidays. If you are new to my podcast, welcome. I hope you enjoy. Please make sure to subscribe and support us here at True Crime Junkies. If you have not done so, you can find our podcast in any of your favorite platforms. You can also find our link to all the podcast episodes on my Instagram bio. And you can also set up your notifications to be up to date on every episode coming up. Now let's get started. I decided to venture into a murder mystery I came upon. It's been decades and it's still an unsolved case till this day. It's called the Isdal Woman. On the afternoon of November 29th, 1970, a man and his two young daughters were hiking in the foothills of north face of Ulriken. My apologies, because I will be mispronouncing some of these words in advance, but I will try my best. In an area known as Isdalen, also known as the Ice Valley. It was also nicknamed Isdalen, which is in English the Death Valley, due to the area's history of suicide in the Middle Ages and more recent hiking accidents. That's why they named it the Death Valley. And Bergen police responded quickly and launched a full-scale investigation. Examining the site, police noticed the woman's she's lying horizontal position, her clenched hands up by her torso, and the absence of a nearby campfire. The front of her body and her clothes had been severely burned, and she was unrecognizable. Also located or placed near the body and affected by the fire were an empty bottle of St. Halvard liqueur, 2 plastic water bottles, a plastic passport container, rubber boots, a woolen jumper, a scarf, nylon stockings, an umbrella, a purse, a matchbox, a watch, 2 earrings, and a ring. Around the body were traces of burned paper, and beneath it was a fur hat, which was later found to have traces of gasoline. All identifying marks and labels on these items had been removed or rubbed off. Now, 3 days later, investigators found 2 suitcases belonging to the woman at Bergen Railway Station. In the lining of one, police discovered 5 100 Deutschmark notes, which is officially currency of West Germany. In US dollars, it's about $137 back in 1970. Amongst other items, they found clothing, shoes, wigs, makeup, eczema cream, and 135 Norwegian kroner, Belgian, British, and Swiss coins, maps, timetables, a pair of glasses with non-prescription lenses, sunglasses with partial fingerprints that matched the body, cosmetics, and a notepad. As with the body, any possible identifying information had been removed. An autopsy at the Gates Institute concluded that the woman had died from a combination of incapacitation by phenobarbital and poisoning by carbon monoxide. Soot. Soot is a mass of impure carbon particles, so they found traces of that in her soot. That was found in her lungs, indicating she was alive as she burned, and her neck was bruised, possibly from a fall or a blow. Analysis of her blood and stomach showed that she had consumed between 50 and 70 Phenomol brand sleeping pills. Found next to her body were further 12 sleeping pills. In autopsy, her teeth and jaw were removed due to her unique gold fillings dental work, and tissue samples of her organs were taken. Police then launched an appeal for information in the Norwegian media regarding the case. The last time she was alive was on November 23rd when she checked out of room 407 of the hotel called Hardahamen. The hotel staff told police that she was good looking and roughly around 5'4" in height, with dark brown hair and small brown eyes. Staff noted that the woman kept mainly to her room and seemed to be on guard. When she checked out, she paid her bill in cash and requested a taxi. Her movements between then and the discovery of her body remains unknown. The police were able to decode the notepad entries and determined that it indicated dates and places the woman had visited. As a result, based on handwritten check-in forms, the police determined that the Isdal Woman had traveled around Norway. For example, around Oslo, Trondheim, Stavanger, Europe, Paris, with at least 8 fake passports and aliases. While details such as birthdays and occupations changed from one form to another, she consistently gave her nationality as Belgian. The forms were filled out in either German or French. It was also learned that the woman had previously stayed at several hotels in Bergen and was known to change rooms after check-in. She often told hotel staff that she was traveling saleswoman in antiquities. One witness said that she overheard the woman talking to a man in the German in a Bergen hotel. Others who met her mentioned that she also spoke Flemish and broken English and smelled of garlic. Weird. People who saw or met her also commented that she always wore wigs. Composite sketches based on the witness descriptions and analysis of her body were then circulated in many countries via Interpol. Despite the significant police resources deployed, the unknown woman was never identified, and the case was quickly closed, while authorities concluded that she had committed suicide by ingestion of sleeping pills. Others kind of believe that there is evidence that she was murdered. Many questions remain unanswered about the case, especially the reasons for the woman's many identities and unexplained travel plans. Multiple investigations point to the possibility that she was a spy, given the Cold War context of the time. Norway had also experienced other strange disappearances in the 1960s, close to the military installations, which also trace back to international espionage. The declassified records of the Norwegian Armed Forces also revealed that many of the woman's movements seemed to correspond to top secret trials of the Penguin missile. A fisherman is also reported to have recognized the unknown woman while observing military movements in the Stavanger. The 9 identities used in hotels, no passports were found, could imply the involvement of a very professional organization or alternative involvement in a crime gang. Again, my friends, I'm so sorry. I am feeling a little bit under the weather, so my apologies for my voice. Little stuffy. Now back. There was some developments year later. The taxi driver who took the woman from the hotel to Bergen railway station was never found. In 1991, however, a taxi driver wishing to remain anonymous said that after picking up the unknown woman at the hotel, they were joined by another man for the ride to the train station. In 2005, a Bergen resident who was 26 in 1970 told a local newspaper that after seeing the sketch circulated, he had suspected that the dead woman was a woman he had seen 5 days before the body was found. When he was hiking on the hillside at Fløyen, surprisingly, she was dressed lightly, for the city rather than hike, and was walking ahead of two men wearing coats who looked southern. She appeared resigned and seemed about to say something to him, but did not. He went to someone he knew at the police station to report this, but was told to forget about it. Therefore, neither his name nor his alleged sighting was recorded at the time. In 2016, the case was reopened, and NRK commissioned the American artist Stephen Missal to create 6 alternative sketches of the Isdal Woman, which were shown to people who had seen her. In 2017, stable isotope analysis of the woman's teeth, taken from her unburied jawbone, indicated that the woman had been born in about 1930, plus or minus 4 years, give or take, in or near Nuremberg, Germany, but had moved to France or the France-Germany border as a child. The reinforced earlier analysis of her handwriting, which suggested that she had been educated in France or a neighboring country. Other analysis also indicated that she had been to a dentist in either East Asia, Central Europe, or Southern Europe or South America. In 2018, NRK and the BBC World Service published a podcast series titled Death in Ice Valley, which included interviews with eyewitnesses and forensic scientists, also suggesting that Isdal Woman's birthplace may have been southern Germany or the French-Germany border region, and that she was likely born between 1930 or give or take 3 to 4 years. She was also likely raised in French-speaking Belgium. In June 2019, the BBC revealed that listeners of the podcast had given some more clues. Further, Colleen Fitzpatrick, a geneticist with the DNA of Dodo Project, contacted the Death in Ice Valley team to offer her help and identify the woman through genealogical isotope testing of autopsy tissues. It has been revealed that she is mtDNA, haplogroup H24, indicating a matrilineal line of descendants originating in Southeast Europe or Southwest Asia. She also seems to have had a French passport based on the fact that an identified French national was registered on one of the flights she took to Norway. The author Dennis Sacker Askey proposed the woman to have been a sex worker in his book. This is based on the way that her route was planned, goal-oriented and always returning to the same point, likely her home. Her wish to remain anonymous, her behavior at hotels, including marking the doors in different ways, and the fact that different men she was witness with meeting never came forward. He argued that another person was likely at the crime scene when she died. Based on the evidence from the scene and her medical intoxicated condition in the hours before her death, he said there were arguments that supported the death being either murder or assisted suicide, and believed murder to be most likely. In 2019, after a publication on the case in the Le Republicain Lorraine, an inhabitant of Forbach, France, claims to have had a relationship with the woman in the summer of 1970. The woman, a polyglot, supposedly had a Balkan accent. She pretended to be about 26 years old, but often dressed herself up to look younger, and refused to share any personal details about herself. She's said to have often received scheduled phone calls from abroad. The resident managed to rifle through her belongings and found various wigs and colorful clothes. He had also pilfered a photograph of the woman riding a horse. Suspecting she was a spy, he considered contacting the authorities, but was too afraid to do so. His story and the photograph were published in a subsequent issue of a newspaper. On February 5th of 1971, the woman was given a Catholic burial based on her use of saint names and check-in forms. In an unmarked grave within the Mollendal graveyard located in Bergen, attended by 16 members of the Bergen police force, she was buried in a zinc coffin to both preserve her remains. So this is a pretty sad case. It was never really resolved. They are still collecting any evidence, tips they can find. They are still handling it as a cold case. So if anyone does have any information, have visited that country, or have any relatives that live in that country that may have told them a story about this and knows any details, it will be nice if they can reach out. If you have any comments, hopefully you guys like this episode. If you have any suggestions for any cases that you would like me to look into and post as an episode, just message me directly, and I will be more than happy to have a talk with you and look into it. And if just don't forget, make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I will be posting another one sometime next week. So just make sure you are turning on your notifications, and I will see you guys soon again. Bye.